My dear friends, we are entering into the Lent season, especially in the year 2024. I'm happy to meet you through this way that we can have some Lenten thoughts for the coming weeks. Especially on the first Sunday of Lent, the Gospel reading is telling us that Jesus went to the desert and he fasted 40 days and he was living without anything. That means he was thinking about his own life, and at the end he is coming to the people and he is doing the wonderful missionary work, and he is dying after 3 years. In our time, we think that Lent season is something to do with fasting. Especially in the countries like Germany, all the people do fast, especially in the Lent season, whether they are Christians or not, whether they are really doing for the purpose of the church or with the teachings of the church. It is normal that people take time and they go fasting during this time, especially for their own health or their own body structures. They do fasting. This has a long tradition, my dear friends, especially many hundreds years of back. A big king called Karl, he said if somebody is not doing fasting that time, he will be given punishment. So that way, the fasting system is actually among the people here very much. But fasting is not only for the Christians. Also the Muslims do fast and the Hindus do fast and all the other religions too. That means fasting belongs to the religious practices of our world. But at the same time, what is the difference? What is the difference that the Christians do fasting and they spend these 40 days in fasting and praying? There we can look up from the gospel reading, my dear friends. Jesus is doing something for the great work which he is doing afterwards. As we know from the gospel reading that many people, thousands of people come to Jesus and they hear his words and they see how he is living his life and they get healed from him, and nobody is going away without getting healed. That means for this great work, he has to prepare himself. These 40 days, what Jesus is spending in the desert means a lot, my dear friends. He is spending 40 days for the preparation for the whole work which he is going to do. 40 days, it has a symbolic number. 40 years, the Israelites were on the desert till they came to their own promised land. And 40 days, Moses is on the way to come to the Mount Sinai. 40 days, the prophet Elijah is on the way to the mountain of Horeb. In all the sense, we can see, my dear friends, 40 days or 40 years, the number 40 is a symbolic figure for something. I would say the 40 calls us to think one's own self, to make a decision, so that all the time what we are going to have will be fruitful and it will be according to the will of God. That is the thing, my dear friends, where I also see in Jesus. Jesus is taking 40 days in fasting. He is alone in the desert and he prepares himself, or he decides himself what or how his life will be afterwards. Actually, I would say it has nothing to do with the physical fasting. It is the mental and psychological and spiritual fasting, my dear friends, where we have to take or we have to use this time. 40 days where we have as Lent season is meant for our own decision making, for our own checking, for our own thinking about our own selves, and also it is a time of examination of our own selves. That is why these 40 days are actually a gift for us, just to come down. If for coming down the fasting is helping, then we can do. Of course, we should come out of the normal habits which we are having, so that we get time for some other things, my dear friends. Jesus is coming out of his own life, and he is spending 40 days in the desert just to forgo everything what he had, and he is preparing himself for the future. So like that, when we use this time, these 40 days, then we can get fruits, we can make good decisions, and we can really fulfill the will of God in the coming time. That will be the real Easter, my dear friends. So let us try to use this time, and let us have fruitful time of Lent. I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.